Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood, and I'm here to continue my revisited tour of John Philip Betancourt's blog, The Return of Dark Shadows, Series 1, Chapter 4, The Dark Room. Now, this takes place inside of Collinwood. You see Carolyn, Alexandra, and Caleb, who are just walking down this long hall, and it's dark. I love the setting. I've said this throughout my old reviews, and I'll say this now. It, John always takes you there, so he makes you feel like you're walking with these characters and you're really experiencing their journey. That's something as a reader I really appreciate because I read that a lot in books where the writer has no problem setting the scene for you. They make it very easy for you to be there with the character. And if John listens to this video, my advice to him would be take all this and get it published because I think it would be one hell of a novel, for sure. But that would be my advice. But my opinion. But it, and it's just so easy to appreciate these characters. And here's what I love too. Carolyn is the one person who mentions Barnabas. And it makes something me and sort of John were talking about. I sort of hope they do that with this series, the new series, the sequel series, whatever this is. If you're gonna have someone mention Barnabas, have it be an older character because they were actually around him. If they're gonna bring him up in a tense of talk about him like they know him, it would make sense for it to be a Carolyn or a David. And just like how John has Carolyn do it here, she is the one mentioning Barnabas. She's mentioning him by name. She's mentioning him that she was around him because she was. Alexandra and Caleb weren't. And Alexandra, who's the daughter of Carolyn, and Caleb, who's the son of David. And what I like about the new characters is here you're not getting heavy doses of them. You're getting little doses of them, but yet enough to keep you're getting small doses of information about them, either directly or indirectly. And you'll get one here with Caleb here in a second. And what I mean is, you excuse me, sorry. You get enough to really keep you interested in these newer characters, and but not so much to the point it's oversaturation. It's sort of like a jab in boxing. You feel this thing and you know it happened, but it was quick. Like bam, like what the fuck was that? uh, Goodness. But I do think that when and two, you get new character introductions as well. You get Detective Loomis McGovern, who's a middle-aged man, and you get a very young, a very attractive Kate Banning, and they're partners. They're an odd pairing, and often you do see that with cops. It's usually an older vet and a young rookie, and so they're there to help search for Jack Thorne. They knock on a door, and no one's answering. No one's answering. And finally, when they meet up with Caleb, Alexandra, and Carolyn, Caleb knows Kate from school, but Caleb left for, I believe it was Paris, if I'm not mistaken, for a while. So it's very, very interesting that you get a brief mention between two completely new characters, and it's believable. I mean, they're the same age. it made sense. It was just so smooth in transition wise. It wasn't nothing that you wouldn't believe. And again, the setting helps. And yet you have this really dark, creepy overtone of Jack missing. You know, the cops are going to search. And you have Carolyn who just, you know, she loves Jack and she wants to find her husband. If to her that's the only really thing that matters to her, you know, it's not so much about Barnabas or anything else. Yeah, she knows this house is a presence, and she knows there's a presence in the house, but she doesn't think it's Barnabas anymore because the power she saw, she knows Barnabas doesn't have. She knows it's something else, or definitely someone else. And it's very, very tense moments in this. And Carolyn is all too aware that this house has so much baggage along with her family. It's not just her family, it's this house in general. It's the Collinses as well. There's just a lot of baggage. And again, it's all preferenced in the from this beginning to this right here now, this chapter here, and it's just done so well. I can't say enough good things about this. I enjoy the hell out of reading these and revisiting these for sure. My favorite part in this, I definitely think, was the realization of another force in this house, and it wasn't Barnabas. I definitely love that because, you know, I think it would have been, and this is what I mean, patience. It, I do believe I asked John in the very first interview I did with him, was it hard not to introduce Barnabas right away? And I can only imagine how hard that would have been. You know, he didn't, you know, he doesn't introduce Barnabas until series 3, I believe. And it's so amazing that Barnabas, we don't see Barnabas until series 3, and I can't imagine the patience that took for John to do. And yet he's got all these characters just in store, sort of, like I said, it's like a jab in boxing. It's like bam, bam, here, this character, this character. So he's sort of keeping our minds off certain characters with these newer characters, but yet there's an entity that he's not yet telling us about. I'm not revealing who it is. And it's just so well written and done. So that's my review for this. Link is going to be in the description box for both BitChute and YouTube. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.